Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Before starting, subscribe and like the videos, it really helps. The content from this video are taken from the web novel and manga series of Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. Now please enjoy the video. Volume 10 Chapter 6 Wedding Reception. Finished Part 1. The banquet proceeded without delay. We didn't do anything in particular like a kiss of oath in public or exchanging of the rings. From start to end, eat, drink, talk, make some noise, and then returning in groups of 2s and 3s. That is a wedding reception around here. It's not bad to do it without formalities. Part 2. The first ones to return home were Rinia and Pursena. Making sure not to stay too long as well, seems to be manners for the beast race. Nia. Boss, be happy. With this boss is the boss of school in name and in reality Nano. I'm looking forward to the new school term Nano. While saying something like that, the two left in the snow. Nanahoshi was randomly called out to by Luke. It was mostly hitting on her, but it seems Luke didn't openly try to lure in her as well. He started to progressively bring out topics Nanahoshi might have interest in, like cooking and clothes. Talking about topics the partner likes with a tone of voice they like. Well, there was a bit of slippage though. However, I can learn from this. I don't have any intention of using the things I learn though. In contrast, Nanahoshi was openly fed up with it. She looked at Luke like he was extremely annoying and let out an extremely annoyed sigh. In the end, she stood up to go to the toilet like she was escaping. And then soon after she came back from the toilet, she came up to me with just a bit of an agitated expression. It's about time I take my leave. That guy is annoying as well. I see. Good work. Thank you very much for today. Again, I'll be depending on you starting tomorrow, and then, next time, the bath here, is it fine if I come to use it? Somehow, it seems while she was in the toilet, she took a look at our bath. If it's a Japanese, then they'll yearn for the bath as well. Her name is Shizuka-chan as well after all. That's fine, just, Nobita-kun might peek in on yo, as I thought. It's fine. No, it's a joke, you know, a joke. Please come whenever you want. Nanahoshi nodded and was going to return. The sun still hasn't set, but I wonder if a single woman will be alright. I guess since she came this far alone, she also has magic items for self-defense purposes, so it should be fine. Karine. Please see Silent Sama back. Yes, Haim Sama. And just as I was hesitating, Ariel called out to one of her attendants, as expected of Charisma. Her attention to detail is well made. Just, Nanahoshi stubbornly refused that proposal and returned alone. Badagati, Zenoba, and Ariel were mixing alcohol in as they had a fun conversation. Just in case, for the sake of the drinker Batty, I had intended to prepare a considerable amount of alcohol. I had bought 3 barrels of it and placed it in the basement. Those barrels ended up being barrels in the sky in no time at all. I thought there would be a necessity to buy more, but before that Zenoba passed out drunk. Fuhahahaha. How weak for one known as a Miko. Ha 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 ha. No, I have no excuses. I seem to have taken the entertainment a bit too far. Master, are you alright? Julie supported the staggering Zenoba with her small body. Fufufufu, wouldn't it be better for you to take a rest in one of the rooms? It seems Ariel hasn't had all that much to drink. I wonder if it's a lady's prudence in order to not become too intoxicated as well. Nevertheless, all of Ariel's actions sure are refined. From the way she tilts her cup all the way to her laughing manner, it just looks like she's managing her nerves. I guess this is the complete form of Asura Kingdom's manners etiquette. No. Passing time in Shisho's house drunk and sick would be a shame as both a disciple and also as Sharon royalty. It's regretful, but I'll take my leave here while I can still walk. While saying that, Zenoba gave me the last of his salutations, though I think it would be fine for him to stay over. Well, it's fine if he does as he pleases. Then, I will return as well. Princess of Asura, stay in good health. Yes. Your Highness as well, stay in good health. Fuhahahaha. I cannot be stopped by injury or illness. It seems Badagati is returning as well. I thought he would stay until the end of the banquet though. It's unexpected. While I was thanking the two, I saw them off to the entrance. The wedding reception is already nearing its finish. Ariel and the others as well started preparations to return. During those preparations, I decided to go check in on the situation with Elinalise. After going up to the 2nd floor and peeking into the guest room, there Cliff was giving Elinalise a lap pillow. It seems consolation time has already ended and they've started flirting time. Somehow that's nice. Later I'll do a lap pillow with Sylphy as well. Cliff-san. I'd like to talk with Oba-chan, Elinalise-san, but, is that okay? I heard Sylphy ask that with a timid feeling from behind me. Cliff sent me a look with his face like he was seeking help. He raised up Elinalise's body and then made a small nod facing me. I nodded as well. After Cliff saw that, he stood up and left the room. "Thank you, Rudy." Sylphy made a soft smile and entered inside the room. Together with Cliff, I proceeded downstairs. Cliff was making an uneasy face. "Those two, I wonder if it'll be alright. If it's no good, then it's fine for us to follow through later." And while saying that, we arrived downstairs. Part 3. Ariel and the others' preparations for leaving were just ending as we got downstairs. The two attendants were putting a coat on Ariel. When Ariel realized I was there, she drew back her chin a bit. "Rudeus-sama. Thank you very much for today." After hearing their master's words, the three subordinates deeply bowed. Just like a Japanese, I was about to lower my head as well. But, in this case, wouldn't it be better not to lower my head? What is going on with Sylphy? Now she's talking with Elinalise. Is that so? Nevertheless, for the Sylphy who was thought to have no more relatives to still have one sure as a surprise. Right. Really, the world is small. It's Elinalise and Sylphy after all. It's like the distance between heaven and earth, primarily concerning ideas of chastity. Then, it's just right. "Rudeus-sama, could I take up a bit of your time?" Ariel's words were ones with a hidden meaning. For the time being, I nodded. "Then, over here." While saying that, Ariel crossed the room into the corridor, and then moved from the corridor to the entranceway, and just like that opened the door and went outside. Naturally as it is, the other three went along with her as well. Cliff and I followed along with that. Outside, the sun was setting and it was starting to get dark. Ahead of the entranceway, on a road with snow piling up and few people, Ariel came to a stop, and then turned around and said it. "Rudeus-sama, I know this is rude, but could I request a duel with Luke? Without magic, a match between swords. That's a sudden suggestion." Without replying, I kept silent. After looking at Luke, he was putting his hand on the sword at his waist with a composed face. Somehow, it seems it's not something Ariel decided suddenly. For the time being, would it be alright for me to ask the reason? After asking, Ariel tenderly smiled. "Just a bit of playing around." Playing around, is it? However, what Luke took out was a real sword. It was a double-edged sword. Since it's playing around, he's going to strike with the back of the sword. Such reasons really can't pass. At least, can't I prepare some wooden swords? I don't hold a real sword. I don't mind if you prepare a weapon with magic. Without magic? Something to that degree, I don't mind. For the time being, I create a stone sword with earth magic. I created it somewhat sturdy, but that part makes it a bit heavy. Just in case, I swing the sword every day, so it's not as if I can't swing it. However, even with this, if it hits the wrong place, you can die. At least, it's not something good for hitting your opponent with for play. Please feel relieved. This is something Luke proposed. I don't mind if Rudeus-sama beats Luke down with all of his power. Without magic, I'm at an ordinary person's level. It isn't limited to just beating down Luke. Just for reference, Luke has learned up to intermediate level with the sword god style and elementary level with the water god style. The sword is a magic item endowed with magic power that will lightly cut through an iron shield. The shoes are the same as the ones Sylphy wears, they increase the user speed. This mantle maintains the temperature within, the gloves boost strength, underneath his uniform a specific type of clothing that is strong against blades is being worn. That is amazing. Isn't it great? He's in full sturdy Eichmann equipment. In order to assemble all of the parts, even if I sold my reformed house, it probably wouldn't be enough. Since it comes down to that, I wonder if there's the possibility that I'll be beaten down by Luke. I can't say that possibility doesn't exist, but if you feel the danger of death, at that point it's fine if you use magic. I'll be praying that using it just before I don't get cut in half though. However, I wonder why they're making this sort of proposal. If either of us dies in this sort of place, we have nothing to gain from it, right? Before that, I'd like to hear the reason. Did I do something to bother you? No, it's just playing around. Of course, it's fine for you to reject it as well. Whether I receive it or turn it down, if you don't properly explain the reason to me, I'll be troubled. Even with this stone sword, if it hits the wrong spot, a person can die, you know? Luke has already made his resolve for that as well. I haven't made that resolve though. Ariel's voice has some kind of tragic sound mixed in with it. I wonder what will come out from this kind of match. I don't know. They won't give me an answer. I wonder if there were ceremonies like this in Asura Kingdom. Around Soros then, I can somewhat see him saying, if you want to take Eris as a wife, then you must first defeat me. No, old man Soros is already gone. Rudeus, I'm begging you, accept it. If you're a man as well, you understand, right? Luke's words. He came out if you're a man. What cowardly words. It seems I'm not a man if I don't know the reason. Is it fine? It's not like he's asking for a serious fight to the death after all. I understand. Please take it easy on me. But, for the time being, I'll just use my demon eye. I don't want to die or kill someone on accident after all. I'm grateful you're accepting our proposal. I can't see the intention, but with Ariel's voice, Luke prepared himself. Seeing that, I heard Cliff's confused voice call out from behind. Hey, Rudeus, is it fine? Yeah, Cliff Senpai. If you think it seriously looks dangerous, I'll be depending on you to immediately use healing magic. Yeah, I get that, but... I slowly prepared myself with the stone sword as well. The distance is about 3 steps, I'd say. Each step about 1 blade. It's close to the distance I often use as an assumption. Then, is it fine? Yes. With my words, Ariel let out a sharp voice. Start. Ha! Luke's shout. He kicked off from the ground. The snow scatters. Luke's body is accelerating straight towards me. Slow. No, I'm sure it's by no means slow. About the same level as Rinia. But, it's not up to the level one usually train based on. Orsted, it goes without saying, it's still far from comparing to Rudeus and Aris. Only this much while using equipment, Ha! While Luke is closing in, he swings the sword diagonally downwards. His sword is slow. No, it's by no means slow, I'm sure. It's not like he's depending too much on the equipment as well. However, it's still far from the speed I usually act within the assumption of. Phew. I aim at Luke's forearm. Sword God style. First move, arm drop. It's a technique I learned far in the past. It's a formal movement that I've repeated any number of thousands, any number of tens of thousands of times. Gu. My stone sword heavily lands. It strikes Luke's arm on the first hit. His sword falls and stands thrust into the snow. Not yet. No, it's over. Immediately Luke goes to pick up his sword with his left hand. I hinder that action by kicking away Luke's chest. Luke rolls on top of the snow. I thrust the stone sword at him as Luke attempts to get up. That's enough. With Ariel's voice the duel ends. Damn it. Luke was hitting the ground. With his broken arm. And then, whoa, he let out a groaning voice and held his arm. Arumina. Use healing magic. After hearing Ariel's voice, one of the attendants rushes over to Luke. While wrapping up the broken arm with her voluptuous chest, she casts healing magic. Amazing. I heard Cliff's admiration from behind. Cliff isn't all that good with close-range matches, so I'm sure he wouldn't understand. Honestly, that fight just now was low level. Swordsmen and warriors above my level are all over the place. That Soldat and Elinalise are the same. I wouldn't be able to win against those guys without magic and my demon eye, I'm sure. Luke is normal. He's a normal swordsman. If I hadn't used the demon eye, it probably would have lasted a few attacks, but just as Ariel said, he's not an opponent I would lose against. Luke Senpai, are you alright? I'm alright. After hearing Luke's calm reply, I threw away the stone sword. The stone sword sank into the snow. I would be saved if you could explain the reason to me in a bit more detail. It's nothing too important. Just, Luke had some feelings about it. The spirit of a man, I guess. A man's spirit, could it be? Luke liked Sylphy as well? I didn't intend to poke fun at it, but Ariel lowered her eyebrows. This is bad, that might have been a slip-up. We all like Sylphy. Just, that isn't the relationship between man and woman. Precisely because we are allies who have gone through life and death together, we each have our own feelings about it. Yes, I'm sorry about that. It was a verbal slip-up. It's fine as long as you have understood. Ariel returned to her composed face, and then she looked in the direction of the house. About this time, I wonder if Sylphy and Elinalise are having a conversation inside the house. Ariel started to talk about it. Eventually, I will be returning to the Asura kingdom. If I return, I'll either become the queen or I'll die. 2 possibilities for one thing. The probability of it being the latter side are overwhelmingly high. The Asura royal palace might become a proper place to die in my regards. Can you not go about it without returning? If I were to run away, I wouldn't know for what sake I had lived up until now. If I don't at least fight until the end, I won't be able to face those who died believing in me. She says some pretty heroic things, but the princess has no color in her expression. It's a face that thinks the things she knows are natural and a face that doesn't doubt them at all. In my regards, I think there's an even more different way to live as well though. Sylphy is not my retainer, she's my friend. I don't want to take her along to that sort of place to die. However, Sylphy has the mind to follow along with the princess, but if it's a fight where she can't personally see any chance of winning, then that's a point to stop her. However, these past few years Sylphy has always gone along together with the princess. They've shared the joys and sorrows together. It's not as if I can't understand the feelings of wanting to go together until the end as well. For example, if Rudeus intended to challenge Laplace to a fight, even while my legs are trembling I'd follow along with that, I'm sure. No, that example is a bit different. But, the feelings of wanting to fight together for the sake of your friends are the same, I'm sure. It seems Sylphy still hasn't thought about it very deeply until now though. Getting married, making an effort, and eventually having a child. If that becomes the case, then I'm sure she won't think to try to accompany me unreasonably. But, if she doesn't think like that, if she tries to overdo it and follow along, I'd like for you to please properly stop her. I wonder about that. At that time, I wonder if I'll be able to stop Sylphy. I have the feeling it's impossible. Rather, I feel like I'd end up following along together and helping out as well. Towards the princess, I do have a debt for the time being. Even though I say that, if you don't intend to treat Sylphy preciously and will let Sylphy experience painful things. If she's going to feel that it were better to have died together with us, then we will take back Sylphy. I'm sure we can't win against you in power, but there are any number of methods. Please earnestly prevent Sylphy from thinking it would be better to be together with us. I'll keep that in mind. That doesn't even need to be said. Well then, Rudeus-sama, I leave things with Sylphy in your care. After the princess said that, she turned heel and left. The two attendants lowered their heads towards me, and while Luke was going to pick up his sword he did salutations with his eyes. The four disappeared walking down the road of snow, without waiting for Sylphy to come down. That's it guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want more and don't forget to like the videos.